Do you love yourself? And do you know what it takes to love yourself? Hi, I'm Dr. Kim Sage. I'm a clinical psychologist with a doctorate in psychology and a master's degree in marriage, family, and child therapy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's video is all about how to truly love yourself more from a clinical and practical perspective. So let's get started. So I want to share with you the main things I know to be true about how to truly love yourself more. It's not just about sticking a Post-it note on your mirror. Like, that's great and all, but that is not going to be enough. I believe it's about not just about what you say, but also about what you do. And you have to do things to love yourself more. And you have to know things about yourself to love yourself more. The first thing is you have to understand what your attachment wounds are. Now, what does that mean? What that means is how you grew up, what kind of parenting you had, the way you understand and believe relationships to be and look like has a significant impact on how you see yourself. It affects the lens through which you see yourself and other people. So when you love yourself more, you actually know, this is my issue, this is your issue. You're clear on what causes you to bring out the best parts of yourself and what triggers the parts of yourself that make you feel less than, worthless, unlovable. And that, I promise you, is highly rooted in your childhood and your life experiences. The second important thing you need to know about loving yourself is what your boundaries are. Now, I know you hear this all the time. It really boils down to this: knowing what are the boundaries around what is acceptable for you, what is not acceptable for you. You have to know what your own values and morals and beliefs and bumpers are in life so that you can make sure you set those up in a way that more often than not reinforces that you matter, that you are worthy of love, that you are worthy of respect and good things in your life. So boundaries, super important. The next one is knowing the skills of self-compassion. And I'll be linking lots of resources below, but Kristen Neff at selfcompassion.org has an amazing book on self-compassion. And it's really the skill of being able to say, you know what, I need to be able to love on myself when I don't handle things well. And one of my favorite things from Kristen's work is this concept of this exercise of, let's say something difficult's happening. You say, this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind, loving, compassionate, forgiving to myself in this moment. So learning the skills of self-compassion is a key component to loving yourself more. The next one is trusting your gut. What does your intuition tell you? Learning to listen to your own body and mind and soul about people, experiences, things you're doing or not doing. Learning the skill of checking in with yourself and trusting your gut and cultivating a sense of intuition. Is this right for me? Does this align with a person who loves themselves? The next one is fiercely surrounding yourself with people who love you and care about you and want the best for you. Being very protective of who you allow in your life. If someone is consistently just joking, making jokes at your expense, or whenever you leave these people, you just don't feel good about yourself. Really beginning to evaluate who is in my circle, who is worthy of my circle, and how do I navigate those relationships that bring out the best parts of myself. Now, people are going to hurt your feelings sometimes, but if it's happening all the time, I don't care who it is, it's really important to fiercely guard the people you allow in your life. The next one is know how to own your own stuff. Take responsibility and own what belongs to you. You need to be able to take responsibility and accountability for you and your own life. Not blaming other people, not putting your crap on other people, but knowing what belongs to me is a very important part of loving yourself. Along those lines, then you can also learn to make repairs. So knowing how to say I'm sorry, to make something right, to make something better, to apologize, and to say I'm sorry I hurt you. Because if you can make a repair when you need to make a repair, then you can let go of that negative, gnawing, yucky feeling you have inside, or those thoughts that make you feel not good about yourself and that contribute to a lack of self-love. The next one is obvious. We hear this all the time. Self-care, babe. Taking care of yourself. taking good care of your body and your mind, and trying to make decisions like what foods you eat, what exercise you do, how you conduct yourself, acting in a way that aligns with a person who loves themselves and their body. There's a huge relationship between what we eat and how we feel. So when I'm not feeling so good about myself, one of the first things I do is I get back to eating healthy. I get back to choosing things that I know will give me the fuel I need and the good feelings I have that, okay, I'm loving myself. Maybe this little small way I'm having a healthier breakfast, or healthier lunch. It's a way I can not only feel better physically, but mentally say I'm making good choices, and that feels good. Next one is obviously noticing how you talk to yourself. What kind of negative self-talk do you use? If you do something and you say, oh my God, I'm so stupid all the time, we start to believe what we say, and we listen. Our whole sense of self is paying attention to the words we use about ourselves. So when you love yourself, instead of saying, oh, I'm so stupid, I dropped that, I like to see it as, I'm in too much of a hurry. I need to slow down. I'm a big dropper. I dropped spaghetti this morning packing my kids' lunch, and I wanted to be like, oh, you always do that. But I caught myself and I said, okay, this is just your signal to slow down. Take a breath. You're not stupid, but you need to slow down. The next one is be a good parent to yourself. Be a good parent to your inner and outer child. Just the way we want good parents to love and set boundaries, we need to do the same thing for ourselves. So if you loved yourself as a parent, you want good things for yourself. So try to monitor and be a loving, good parent to yourself. The next one is, if you love yourself, you try to focus on the good, trying to find gratitude. It's such a, circa Oprah 20 years ago. God knows how much I love Oprah. That's my generation growing up on Oprah. I always love the stories of the people the most and their journeys, which is probably why I have a passion for psychology. But I love that part, the whole gratitude journal. Oprah did an incredible job of setting that as part of our culture. So focus on the good. You're not just focusing on the negative and what's not working. And that lends itself to a greater love and reflection of light back to yourself. Be a person who lifts up others by also lifting up themselves, right? When you see someone positive and amazing, like Jerry on Cheer, I'm going to do a whole thing on the Netflix Cheer docuseries because I'm obsessed with everybody on that show. Jerry he just does this mat cheering that is incredible. Be your own mat cheerleader. The next one is watching your negativity exposure to yourself and other people. So like I said before, being an observer of how you talk to yourself, but also being a good observer of the negativity you let in your life from other people. So whether it's media, social media, the news, culture, relationships, neighbors, family, make sure you put nice guardrails around protecting yourself. And when you notice that you're becoming triggered by too much negativity or too much self-comparison or too much feeling yucky about yourself, set those things in place. Go back to being a good parent. A good parent says, no, you've had too much social media. Take a break. So if you're in that place, monitor your amount of negative exposure in all the parts of your life to protect that loving, good, secure, safe part of yourself. One more important thing is that, none of us are perfect. And so if you want to love yourself more, and making some changes like exercising or focusing on something is important, go do it. Go change it. There are some things you can control, but you can't control everything. And so to love yourself more, you have to sort of be that good steward and lover of yourself. That sounded funny. So that you know that, okay, this is too much. I've gone too far. And if you're not sure what too far is, talk to someone you trust. But remember that it's healthy to make changes in a certain way, but if you try to change everything, that's not loving yourself, because it's not possible. Have you ever watched the plastic surgery shows? It's devastating to watch how people wound themselves physically by so desperately trying to fill the holes inside. There's a limit. So yes, if you want to change something, go ahead, but be mindful of how much you're doing it and what your why is for your doing it. You can't build self-love from the outside. It is truly an inside-out process. Another one I think is really important to love yourself more is pursue the things in life that give you passion and joy and a sense of light. When you align your passions with your skills and abilities and interests, you are unstoppable. So if you want to love yourself more, do and say and experience more things in life that align you with the things you love and care about. When you do something and you feel good about it, like you take an art class or you ride a bike or you go on a trip or you help someone else, that naturally fuels an inner light and shine in yourself. So do more of those things to fill up your own sense of self-love. Here are some things you can do really quickly to also implement some parts of loving yourself more. You can do a self-love guided imagery exercise. So what is that? I'm going to explain more if you don't know what guided imagery is, but it's basically a visualization through apps like Calm, Headspace, Insight Timer, just basically walking you through a self-love exercise with music in the back, things like that. So if you have some more you like, please link them down below and share them with everybody else. The next one is do some self-compassion exercises. Like I said before, go to selfcompassion.org. Learn how to talk to yourself with loving kindness and self-compassion. Act as if you love yourself. Ask yourself, does this choice I'm about to make or this thing I'm about to do align with a person who loves themselves? Make a list of what your values are, your boundaries, the things that align with your own sense of loving yourself, so that you have a little guide, so that when you go outside of that, if you do, you know how to get yourself back in. You know what matters and what you need to feel good about yourself, which naturally increases a sense of loving ourselves. Write a love letter to yourself or make a list of the things you love about yourself in a journal. You know, dear Kim, I love that you're a survivor. I love that you help other people. Make a list of your strengths and qualities. Write a love letter to yourself. Make a list of the things you love about yourself or the things that you want to love about yourself, so you can begin to work in that direction. Focus on what is working. Stop focusing on the negative all the time. Try to remind yourself that people who love themselves make decisions and focus on things that help them feel better, not worse about themselves. Be your own queen or king. Lizzo yourself out. Love yourself the way Lizzo wants you to love yourself. I highly recommend a Lizzo concert if you haven't been to one. It is truly the church of self-love. When you see thousands of people holding up their phones in the light or their lighters and loving themselves more to Lizzo telling us to do it, you will feel it. So go and do positive experiences like that. Just find and do things that naturally make you feel good and happy and loving towards yourself. Last thing I want you to do is this. Just take a minute and close your eyes, okay? I want you to think about the person, the animal, the thing that you love most in life. I don't care what it is, where you find your greatest sense of love. All right, go ahead. I'll wait. Just think about that person, that animal, your dog, your cat, your chameleon, or whatever it is you love, your little pig. I have no idea. People love all kinds of things. Your snake, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your child, a place. Think about that love now that you have going into them, or that thing or that person or that experience, and now flip it back towards yourself. Imagine what it would feel like to have that much radiating light and love back into you. That is what you want to feel towards yourself. But this is a practice you have to do every single day. It is not a video you watch just once. It's not a book you read or a podcast or a one-time self-compassion exercise. It truly is self-love as a practice and a choice we have to make every day. We live in a very negative, critical, comparing world. It is very hard to do this, but you can do it. I know you can. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you will please down below, post in the comments the ways that you love yourself more, the things you do, so you can share it with our, I hope, growing community as I try to find topics and things to share in the world of mental health and as a psychologist. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and hit the bell if you want more content, and know that I truly am grateful for the subscribers I do have now. Part of my self-love is accepting that it's a gift to be doing what I'm doing, that I love the fact about myself that I got my degree, that I could do this job, and I hope that you will find those things for yourself. We need each other. We can't do this still alone. It's way too hard, and it is truly one of the hardest things you'll ever do. So let's do it together. All right. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.